Okay. Um, so, like I said, at this point, I've understood what I'm part of. I understand that I'm putting this program where they are using human subjects as guinea pigs to continuously improve this technology of neurotechnology. And of course, more than just neural, because they also use directed energy and other technology that is just very sophisticated and extremely advanced. And it's I've understood that, and I understand that this is not just happening to me. They've been doing this to so many others. As you can see here, you see pictures of women specifically here. There's a high percentage of women being tortured too in this program, but these men, women, and children, because any machine learning technology, you need samples from all sort of people, from men, women, different cultures, different races, different ages. They're trying to get as many as possible, so this technology continuously improve. One can think that we all have the kind of somewhat different brains, even though I have a lot of similarities. I'm sure there's like a little bit of differences here and there, and so it makes sense that as a machine learning is technology, you want to get as many samples as you can to get the result that you can in the most efficient ways. And in this case is in a way of tormenting and torturing people. It's so nasty, it's so stupid. When I say stupid, is the way they make us think as target individual is just insanity. It's just damn near illogicalness. You have to, it's hard to describe what a target individual experience, because the way this neurotechnology manipulates your brain and make you start thinking is almost like a childlike individual, like implanting ways of thinking. Sometimes, for me, a lot of the perps are childlike individuals. They're like children almost, or they try to sound like children, or they start. It's funny, they use a combination of try to sound very like serious and menacing, but using logic of a child with different tonality. And so for me, let me just kind of start from the beginning. I'm a target individual, right? I know that I was put in this program once I was working for an employer. I know that maybe the reason why they put me in this was likely due to the race, to my race. Not to say this program has any race preferences. They torture everybody at this point, and that makes sense. Any machine learning is technology that wants as much diverse sample as possible. So you don't want to focus on one specific race, one specific gender, one specific age. You want as many people as you can from different part and cultures and ages. So these people doing this thing to me, I don't see them as racist or whatever. They're just trash that would do that to anybody, any races, any child, any man, any woman, right? And so I understand what they're supposed to do. They have protocols, systems that they do things, because once you hear testimonials from others, you'll hear a lot of similarities between target individuals, super, like a lot. And we're not from the same area, right? We're all different from different areas. We are like this different people, and we all have so much of the similar things, and it's so nasty. And these people, once you put in a program, your your brain is put in this supercomputer type of technology that can like rewire your brain in such illogical, nonsensical stupidity of ways of thinking. And then on top of that, you have these childlike people, not even childlike people, they try to sound childlike, be like people, and they try to find a way to disorient you, to change the subject. Because look at this, right? Look at that. One can obviously see how foul these people are. You see what they've done to women, what they do to even children. They sexually torture children. And so these people in the perps try to cope with this reality. They start finding ways to create a way to normalize what they're part of. Because they're part of a program. They use human subjects, which include children, and they torture these children. I'm talking about sexual torture. I'm talking about suffocating children. And with me, it's been a lot of like try to vilify me in every way possible. and try to bring up whatever they can, and then manipulate a lot of things. They create like falsify reality, like they manipulate reality and try to make me accept these false things they create. And one of the things they like to bring up is something I did as a child. I did something stupid to myself as a kid, right? A kid in 8th grade, right? And because this technology has the ability to manipulate memories, they even have the ability to create a new version of what you experience in your memory, reforming memories in different fashion, right? Having to exaggerate reality. And at the same time, those people talking to me are in a program where they actually torture children. They sexually torture children. I mean, there's testimony of a 3-year-old child being tortured sexually, targeting his testicles, right? And so I see them for what they involved. They are foul human beings, but the very important part here too is because this is a mixture of different agencies involved in this. For sure DARPA is there, for sure. There's no doubt DARPA is involved. Another for sure entity involved in it is the CIA. And the one thing you should realize, and of course the DoD, but that's a given. DoD for sure are obviously the big. This is the entity running this, and using different agencies throughout. And so the perps are just contracted trash. I call them contracted bottom feeders. They even kind of create delusional reality in the sense that it's just like it's such a childlike ways of trying to think, but that's the reality they want to create. Sometimes they try to make it seem like we are at war, we're doing this, we're gonna win. Listen, these trash are contracted by these governmental entities from DARPA to DoD to implement this human experimentation, right? The human experimentation is very systematic. They do the pedophilia type of torture, meaning that when you look at a child, when you hear a child, when you even think of a child, they can make you have sexual stimulations. It's so disturbing. And then they try to gaslight you into accepting the things that you're experiencing because of this technology that can rewire your brain. And there's actually children involved in the program to try to influence you, because the tactics consist of repetitions. You don't need a child, you don't need a genius, right? You need somebody who wants to sound agitating. You need somebody who wants to sound menacing. It's just truly, it doesn't take much. But that's the things that they try to create, and try to block out what you're seeing in front of you. Right? Women's burned, tortured, children tortured, the nastiest things you can imagine. These people are involved in this. And they're involved in that even with the most vulnerable. They are truly the bottom feeders and trash, but they are just contracted trash. I see them as that. Today's me, tomorrow is a child, tomorrow is a woman. So they do whatever. And I truly see them for that. But the Psyop they've created that's when CIA and kind of like this kind of military intelligence type of entities are involved, because they use these tactics of creating a facade, a Psyop. And you hear a lot of target individuals thinking that this group of people are doing this thing to me. This is a cult doing this thing to me. This they all come up with different different stories of who they think is involved in this. When in reality, it's obviously this large government, which we're talking about the DoD, DARPA, CIA, and this bottom feeders, which are very fragile people. I mean, you gotta see who these people are talking to. You they like, oh my god, but you see the trash that they are. It's just nothings. Bottom feeders, and they use these childlike individuals because even the smart or even more mature people have to stoop to their retardations. But they try to use the different tonalities and try to disorient you while, for example, I'm making this video, I'm addressing what the program, what they've done to women, what they've done to children, all the horrible things they do. You can see this. As I'm saying that, to disorient me, they can start saying random things. Oh, you use her hand. That's when they try to exaggerate the things they've created in my mind and in my memories of me of when I was a child. It's always nasty. Oh, they're gonna sue you. Oh, we're gonna burn you alive. All these things they just like start saying via V2K to disorient me while I'm addressing and talking about what this program is about, because they want you to stick in this bubble of a reality they falsified. The reality is these people are doing these things to women, children, men, and they are part of this program where they are just developing this technology. It's funny, in DARPA they have this thing called the Brain Initiative, but in reality that this thing has been ongoing for decades and decades. And it's funny, DARPA kind of gives you like a little bit of like an idea of like they've been working on neurotechnology for a while. DARPA is please understand, DARPA, as much as is a technology entity working on technology, but it's technology specifically for the Department of Defense. They're part of the Department of Defense. Even though they've created so much technology that in the civilian world have been used later on, but it's been first used as a in for the Department of Defense as a military type of technology. Then after a while it becomes commercialized, and then it's given to the civilians, used in the civilian way for commercial purpose. But right now they're not there. Right now they're still continuously improving this technology, this weapon, and it's still very much used as a weapon to torment and torture and do horrible things to people and to perfect. That's what they use this that's what they use us, target individual, and they will be using more. They need more human beings to continuously improve this technology, because it is a weapon they want to perfect, continuously perfect, to continuously improve, as already improved as it is, as sophisticated as it is. They continuously want to go get even better than that, find better ways to break somebody down faster, like more, like it's just disgusting. And so that these entities are the one in charge. Now I have neighbors and bottom feeders that these people, they want to be like, oh, it's our money, it's our weapons, and it's so childlike to think that I ever think that these people, this trash, are the people running this program. Of course, I know they're not. I know they're just to trash the government contract. I know this. We're talking about a lot of money. A lot of money. Department of Defense is perhaps, I'm not 100%, but one may think that there's no a single entity that has the type of funding in the world than the Department of Defense. So you can imagine what kind of money, what kind of wealth is being distributed for people involved in this, contracted. So that's why you see these people try to dumb themselves down, try to it's our money. So listen, I know. You know who it is. It makes sense who it is. We know. You know where the money is coming from. But your job is to try to paint a fantasy. This brain initiative thing, come on. I mean, it's just too obvious. But the one thing they've been doing to me, and I'm going to go back to what I made this video for, is the Psyop. The Psyop I've been dealing with, we hear different Psyops from different people. Some are saying, it's the government of the Russian government, it's this cult, it's the next door neighbor, it's the 14-year-old next door neighbor. Right? Something like that. It's this cult of people and women that doing like all kind of weird, like different Psyop to try to present a facade, a false reality. The reality is obviously these governmental entities continuously improving their technology by using human beings, right? For me, the Psyop is this. They're trying to make themselves be like a group of like women that are avenging and protecting for all the bad thing I've done to women, and they're doing this for these women. And look exactly who's talking to me, okay? That they're protecting and avenging women that have harmed and done horrible things. Stories and BS stories. Like, first of all, you can see the amount of women life they've destroyed. They tortured women, and they are torturing them today, till suicide. Me, they've been manipulating. I mean, I'm telling you right now, memories they're creating, the way they're falsifying reality in my brain. They have the ability to reform and redesign memories in different structures. This one thing, this it's funny because they're, you know, I think there'll be a point where this technology will be transitioned into the commercial world, and there's people writing papers about ethics of memory manipulations. That this is saying that they've been studying the brain. There's a lot of technology coming up. Maybe we should prep and start thinking about how we should have ethics and rules about manipulations of the memories. And I think one journal specifically was saying the science fictions of yesterday are now the reality of today. Memory manipulations, ethics, right? And they call out that they obviously know that memories can be form, reform, recreated in different ways. You can fabricate a memory in a different fashion. You can make things that weren't there, perceive things in different ways. All of that. So with me, it's been a lot of that. Coming up with stories and things, I'm like, oh my gosh, the way they create narrative in my brain is insane. It's just nonsensical. I can obviously know this is not true. But the way my brain is going is like, oh my gosh, you did this thing, yeah, this woman, you this person, I'm like, what? You delusional what? And try to come up with ways to make me accept these things. If you watch my last video yesterday, you'll see some of the things. I'm going back to 2008, 2009, talking to you, bring up some message that just to and look, this person are you delusional? But you have to be strong. But with me, the psyops are so falsified. They're like, okay, we're a bunch of women, we're protecting women. Look at that, and by the way, DARPA, right? Obviously DARPA technology is implemented here. They like to do this pedophilia type of torture, right? Making new experience disgusting. I just saw a child not too long ago. Even me speaking right now, they try to make something just mess with me, and because they have the ability to manipulate your brain, they can make you have sensation stimulations, and they like to aim it toward children. So there was a baby, a little girl with they start making me having stimulation sensations toward this kid. And you hear that a lot from a lot of target individual where they do this pedophilia type of torture, making you respond toward children in different nasty ways. Remember, this is a weapon. At least on us, target individual is used as a weapon. Of course, it can be used in good things, but on us, it's used to break us down. So it's people that are improving and developing, as I'm saying that saliva is coming in, they try to mess with me, my brain is so disgusting, and of course it's a pedophilia thing. So they are developing this technology, right? And this technology is used as a weapon, and they're going to try to find what is the best way to break somebody down. Pedophilia is going to be one of the things. They've been working on this neurotechnology for a long time. You see, even on DARPA, say they've been working since the 70s. They've been working on neurotechnology. That probably means even earlier than that, because apparently there was this study for electromagnetic radiations called the Project of Pandora by DARPA. I think it was in the 60s. So they probably even started working on it in the 60s. And we know MK Ultra, CIA have been working on it for a long time. So they probably combined these two, the different aspect of the CIA tactics plus this technology of DARPA to create this new program that we're experiencing today. But they use these pedophilia ways of breaking you down. You look at a child, they force you to get this nasty stimulation. They make you dream about children in this way. They rewire and condition your brain in so many pedophilia ways. You know how many dreams they make me have with children in disgusting ways? To train your brain, to break you down into suicide. And then they use a lot of intimidations, saying they're waiting for you, they're going to rape you because they saw you and they believe that that's you. I was like, listen, I know that these people, I know that everybody around me are fully aware of what this program is about. And these nasty people have been using pedophilia type of torture. It doesn't take a genius to figure that out. They have very systematic ways of breaking people down. Very, very systematic ways. And one of the systematic ways they do is to do the peripheral type of torture, making you experience nasty ways of experiencing whatever you get. Like when you see a child, for me it's little girls, oh my gosh, the stimulation, and then they try to be like, no, it's you when you were a child. They're nasty. It's them trying to force me to experience. And it's funny, every time I talk about the way they manipulate me to experience seeing children, they try to like change other things, like try to disorient me, talking about, oh, we're gonna frame you, because they keep talking about there's a kid here that gonna frame and says that did something to her. Just some bottom feeder trash, which is good. They work for actually entities with problem with pedophilia. Look up there. In 2021, there was a documents release finally after BuzzFeed has requested it for 10 years. It was a request, I think a FOIA request from BuzzFeed. It took 10 years to get that information, and this documents showed like all the different things that were happening in the intelligence community, right? We're talking about CIA, different DoD agencies, of course DARPA, and they keep saying the same pattern of saying a lot of pedophiles in these agencies, and of course nothing will happen to them. And DARPA, of course, they caught somebody there, actually a program manager there, right? This is what they released, huh? So you gotta understand there's a lot more that's not being shown. So what it was released is there was this program manager that was downloading child porn on his government device at DARPA. Program manager. Now we're talking about DARPA. We know DARPA has some of the most top secret technology that they're working on. So you understand that those people, they keep a good eye on them, because they don't want that information to be given to some other governmental entities, so first of all, that they are keeping them they're paying very close attention to them, and especially before hiring them, they go through everything. So they are letting people who are downloading child porn on and they try to mess with me, hiring them in these entities filled with like top secret stuff. And for DARPA, they're creating weapon technology that that will rewire the brain in these disgusting ways, and they're letting pedophiles in. And these people are so comfortable, they've been downloading child porn on their government devices. So this is the issue. That's something worth looking at. While these people have been trying to make me subscribe to these ways of looking at these little babies, these little girls, these little boys, the way they like the nasty ways they've been making me experience these pedophilia things, making me experience it every day, conditioning my brain to look at kids in a sexual way, try to make things and manipulate things around for me to think that this is something I should identify to, rewiring my brain in different ways, try to condition me to accept these things, delusional trash, and try to disorient me. And so they're like, no, now they don't let pedophiles in these entities, because now we see, look at the directors. So you see the list of directors there, DARPA directors. The Psyop is so delusional here. They think that, you see the directors, you see some women, you see that's changed. We're different now. We protect women and children. Look, there was three women directors. We're feminists, we're protectors of children. Look at us, we're protective of women. By the way, the picture of women that you're seeing here are not too long ago. We're talking about 2020 or so, even earlier, even like 2021 or so. We're talking about like 2018 to 2020. Most of these pictures. There's plenty of women being destroyed. A lot. Regardless of who's the director of DARPA right now, if it's a woman or a female, they have this delusional way of thinking that they think these facades are gonna make me subscribe to this. It's gonna continuously happen, and they're like, oh no, but this pedophile, they call it was old. It was 2003 or so. The request from BuzzFeed to get this information was done in 2010. In 2010, they released it in 2021. In 2021, that's when it was released. It was requested in 2010 2021. So if today they want to know what's happening, it will take another 10 years to get anything like that. So for today, to get to find out what's going on in these entities, in 2030, that's when they can get the information. In 2030, they will be able to get those kind of information they got from this 2010 report. For the 2020 version, they will have to wait till 2030. Yes, and there is a problem still going, and because they don't address these pedophilia things that's happening in these entities, it's for sure something that's still happening. They didn't even cover up this BuzzFeed article. There was nobody talking about it. So of course there's still a lot of problem with pedophilia, and this is just the things. A lot of this is redacted, and this is just a few they probably addressed. Who knows really how deep is this? Well, these people rewire people in these pedophilia ways. And this is not just DARPA. Oh my gosh, DOD, CIA apparently that's another level. The DOD another level. Somebody worked in 2016, was working at some Pentagon office, and he was shocked by the amount of child porn he was seeing on the government. This government workers working this like intelligence community in the Pentagon. He was shocked by the amount of child porn he was seeing on their computer. Shocked. So this an obvious culture and pattern of pedophilia that's happening in these agencies, regardless of how they try to present themselves, try to be women, or try to present themselves as, because we're women, this is not happening. What kind of BS, basic ass fraudulent facades are those? There has been even women calling out the fact that there's a lot of females involved in my targeting. Some of them, when they think of this is a cult or whatever, they think, the people running this cult are women. It's the Psyop. The people running this obviously is the government, women or not, men or women, it doesn't matter. It's an entity of a governmental entity like DARPA and CIA, and they continuously use the same tactic, which pedophilia type of torture is something you're still gonna hear. It's non-stop. People who are manipulating your brain and learning how to manipulate your brain and improve this technology that has been manipulating your brain are going to continuously use the same tactics to break you down, which include the pedophilia type of torture. It's obvious. So now what they're saying right now, they tell me how I'm going to be burned like this. You see the face I have over there? You see the face of this woman? You see what's happening to her? They say, this is going to happen to you. I was like, yes. I know. It's going to happen to me. I was like, I know. I see what you guys do to women and children. They try to sound fierce and badass. I understand. I'm going to go through some horrible thing just like this woman. But I understand who's behind this. I understand who you're doing this to. And I understand how you manipulate people in these pedophilia ways. They are delusional trash that try to break you down in these disgusting ways, but they know what they sign up for. And of course, they're getting compensated in one way or another. But they're going to get theirs. It's okay. People living that life, it's going to come one way or another. They use sexual torture on children using this technology, abusing them sexually and other ways, suffocating them. Reality is something they try to escape from, but for me, till my last breath, I will never let them escape. They've done too much horrible things, not only to me but to women and children. And they know that when we face each other, I'll see that for what they're part of.